Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube deck tech from the comment section for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a list you're trying to work on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. Today, we have a request from the user Aysip looking for a Missy deck. Um, Looking for abilities to steal opponents' creatures, marrying that with numerous cards that let me play exile cards from opponents with some payoffs, no budget restrictions, wants to play the 12th Doctor. No problem. This is Missy, it's Grixis, 3 colorless, and then a blue, black, and a red. Whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, face down, and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. If you don't know what that bottom part means, chaos ensues is introducing plane chase into the game. If you've never heard of plane chase, it's like these little cards that are about this big that have an impact basically on everybody throughout the game. It's a pretty fun way to play Commander, and it just introduces a little bit of, well, chaos into the game. So if you're interested in kind of shaking your local gameplay up with your local play group, I would highly suggest looking into the Planar deck or the Plane Chase cards. Anyways, this is Tasha, the Witch Queen, Planeswalker. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, you make a black demon. You draw a card for each opponent, exile up to 1 instant or sorcery from the graveyard of the page counter, and then you can -3 to cast that stuff. Creatures, it's a hefty section. So the direction I went with this deck, Aysip, is I was really interested in the morph mechanic. So not only are we going to be deploying creatures that we're going to be turning face up, but we're also going to be stealing creatures with the ability to turn them face up as well. So that's kind of like the marrying of ideas for me here, is we have a lot of ways to destroy creatures, get them as Cybermen, and then ideally turn them face up and then use them against everybody else. So removal like a Cursed Marauder, you have benefits for stealing stuff. Probably the best one's Agent of Treachery. A Feta Runecaster, whenever a creature's turn face up, draw a card. Bane of the Living, you can morph it to give creatures -X/-X. Bolt Bender, I'm just going to say morph instead of disguise, it's all the same thing. You can morph this in order to redirect abilities. Braids lets you sacrifice stuff for card draw. Canatep Spider, every time you make one of those Cybermen, when you kill a creature, you're basically going to draw a card. Demon's Disciple has more removal. Don Andres will make all of the Cybermen you steal +2/+2 Menace and Death Touch. And then if you do happen to cast a non-creature spell you don't own, you make some treasure. Arata lets you take face down creatures you control, have pay 2 colorless, a blue and a black to turn it face up. Fleshbag has removal. Grim Haruspex, a cool morph card that allows you to draw cards. Ixidor to turn stuff face up. Ixidrone to turn stuff face down. Kadena, you can flip this up to basically counter all abilities your opponents control. Keru Spell Snatcher lets you counter a spell and then basically cast it for yourself. Plague Crafter for removal. Roshan will make all of your Cybermen have Menace, and then whenever you flip something face up, you draw a card. Satoru, whenever you have 1 or more non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast, draw a card. So every time you kill a creature, make a Cyberman, it comes into the battlefield, you don't cast it, Satoru triggers, you draw a card. Silumgar, you can flip up to destroy a creature. Skirk Alarmist, you can flip a creature face up. Stratus Dancer allows you to counter an instant sorcery. Thassa Deep Dwelling allows you to exile a card and then return it to the battlefield. Cybermen Controller, basically you can dump as much as you have for X into this, and then each opponent mills X cards, and you put them all face down as 2/2 Cybermen, and then this also buffs your artifact creatures by +1/+1. 12th Doctor is exactly what you asked for. The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand this turn has Demonstrate, which means you can copy it. Vesuvan Shapeshifter, you can morph to copy a creature. Void Mage Apprentice, you can morph to counter a spell. And then Willbender, you can morph to change the target of a spell. Some removal, we have Doomsday Confluence, Feed the Swarm. So you'll notice that a lot of my removal in this deck is predicated on people sacrificing things. The way this deck is going to get ahead is by its removal being worth more than one card. So Doomsday Confluence is going to say each player sacrifices a non-artifact creature, each opponent discards a card. You're getting more than one card at this rate, so you're getting ahead of everybody else. Feed the Swarm is the only exception to that rule because we do need a way to deal with enchantments. Vandal Blast, catch all artifacts. Will of the Abzan will allow you to make everybody sacrifice stuff and then possibly get a creature back. Dark Ritual, I've been putting this in pretty much every black deck I play. Just having the one-off effect of getting some extra mana is really good. Expose the Culprit lets you turn a creature face up. Flare of Malice is a sacrifice effect. Ghostly Flicker lets you basically flip creatures that are face down. Invert Polarity will allow you to either counter a spell or gain control of a spell. So it's a cool counter spell. Liliana's Triumph, Shieldred's Edict, Soul Shatter, and Vona's Hunger will all make people sacrifice creatures. Counterspell, artifacts, so we'll get the ramp out of the way. Arcane Signet, Dimir Signet, Felwar Stone, Izzet Signet, Rakdos Signet, Soul Rain, Talisman, 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 Thought Vessel, 10 up, 10 down. Stay consistent with your ramp package and your games will be much better off. Ashnod's Altar as a little bit of sacrifice ability. Typically, we're going to usually be stealing creatures and then flipping them face up and using them to win the game. But if for some reason somebody does have some sort of effect to take a creature back, for example, we can sacrifice it to Ashnod's Altar. Or if we need some mana, we can get rid of some Cybermen and generate some mana. Cybership is a vehicle that allows you to take stuff face down as 2/2 Cybermen. Lightning Greaves, all of your creatures are very powerful in this deck. We want to do our best to protect them. Riversong Diary is cool. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery, exile it, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 or more, choose one at random, cast it without paying its mana cost. Enchantments, Death in Heaven will mill cards and then put all creatures exiled onto the battlefield as Cybermen. Dictate of Erebos and Grave Pact will just keep the board even more clear for you. So when you kill a creature or when you play an effect that says everybody sacks a creature, it's going to really be 2 if you have to lose a creature as well. But if not, say you sacrifice a Cyberman to Ashnod's Altar to generate some mana, this will also force other people to lose a creature. Phyrexian Arena to draw cards. I don't know why it always puts this non-English one in here, but if you don't know what this does, pretty simple. Just draw a card on your upkeep. Propaganda to buy you some time. Lands, do your best with what you have. This is a pretty good mana base. I didn't do any skimping, but obviously, as always, build it based on what you have and work up from there. We did get Trenzalore Clock Tower as a little bit of flavor win in here. And then the other noteworthy one is, again, High Market to sacrifice a creature in case something shisty happens to the stuff you steal. Overall, I'm super happy with how this turned out. It's a cool deck that's built around Morph, which you don't see very often. It doesn't have a ton of stealing other people's instants and sorceries, which I think you did want. I went more in the direction of basically controlling the board with creatures. But if you do want to add more stealing instants and sorceries, there are cards out there, and I would recommend possibly just cutting some of the top end removal pieces. You could look at things like Dictate and Grave Pact. These cards are pretty mean and not a lot of people like to play against them. So if you want to cut stuff like that and then cut the excess chef, so Ashnod's Altar, you could also cut maybe like Vandal Blast, some of the removal in lieu of more stuff that takes instants and sorceries from your opponents. Feel free to, but I think we're going to be messing with other people's boards enough. They're already going to be pretty frustrated. I don't know if you also want to fight them on the access of their instants and sorceries in addition to their creatures. That might tilt them. But either way, let me know how it plays out. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, Godspeed.